What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Exxon here with another video. We're back at it. Today we're going to be looking into, you know, uh, Egypt and them becoming part of the BRICS nation. Yeah, this was back in December 29th. I haven't really seen, much people in the space actually talk about this, but this is big news when it comes to the BRIC nation stuff. And right, so before like I can really get right into it, nothing on this channel is financial advice. Everything on here is for education purposes only. Yeah, so let's get into it. So this was 29th December 2021. This article is old, but I haven't seen anyone in this crypto space actually cover this topic or talk about Egypt on being part of the BRICS nations, right? So let's get into it. So on Tuesday, the BRICS New Development Bank announced that it had officially added Egypt as its new member, according to RT. Uh, we'll get into some of that stuff soon. In a statement, the president of NB, Marcos, we are delighted to welcome Egypt into NB's family. We look forward to supporting its investments needs in infrastructure and sustainable development. In the same concept, the NDB is set to provide Egypt with a new platform to foster cooperation with the BRICS countries or infrastructure and sustainable development, as well as other emerging economies and developing countries. Okay, and then there's some other countries. Egypt is the fourth member admitted into the NDB, which is the new development bank after the UAE, Bangladesh, Uruguay, and I'll talk about these other countries, but Egypt is one of the main ones we're going to look at. And because this happened last year with Egypt, uh, I'm not sure if maybe you guys are aware, some of you might not be aware, but Egypt's largest bank joins RippleNet for cross-border payments. This was May 19th, 2021. As you can see, Egypt is in the top 5 nations globally in terms of remittance flows from expat communities. It says Egypt is in the top 5 nations. They never tell you which top five. They never tell you that it's the BRICS. They just said top five. So yeah, the China can see just small things, but damn, they're keeping stuff away hidden from you guys. Damn. Just with words, right? And then you see the National Bank of Egypt, NB's to harness blockchain technology from Ripple from for a remittance corridor with the UAE. Right, so you got Egypt and the UAE, and they're part of the BRICS and the New Development Bank and the BRICS nations. They're doing stuff with XRP and Ripple. The presidents have met on numerous occasions with some people and stuff like that. Egypt's largest bank will work with financial services firm International Exchange. Lulu International Exchange uses RippleNet, yes. They also got another project that they're working with called DigiByte. I mean, if you're not looking into that, you can look into that project. The UAE to serve the large number of Egyptians working in the Middle Eastern nation, California based Ripple on Tuesday, right? The remittance market for Egypt is huge, with the North African country receiving 24 billion in 2020 alone, Ripple said, citing third-party data. Right, I'm not going to go through all of this, right, for what's going on, but you kind of see that Egypt has a largest bank works with RippleNet, which is the it's National Bank of Egypt that's working with RippleNet, right? And that's where Egypt literally goes. And now Egypt becomes part of BRIC nations, right? And there's another thing we're gonna look into the BRICS nations bank, which is called the New Development bank, right? And we'll just go over some stuff about it uh, and what's going on. So the New Development Bank, formerly referred to as the BRICS Development Bank, is a multilateral development bank established by the BRICS states, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, according to the agreement on the on the New Development Bank. The bank shall support public or private projects through loans, guarantees, equity, participation, and other financial instruments. Keyword financial instruments. Moreover, the new NDB shall cooperate with international organizations, IMF, WAF. Uh, I can throw in more if you want, but just to go there, HSBC is another one, right? And other financial entities to provide technical assistance for projects to be supported by the bank. The initial authorized capital of the bank is 100 billion divided into 1 million shares having a par value of $100,000 each, right? The initial subscribed capital of NDB is $50 billion into paid in shares 10 billion and callable shares 40 billion. The initial subscribed capital of the bank was equally distributed among the founding members. The agreement on the NDB specifies that every member will have one vote. No one would have any veto powers. Okay, let me stop. We'll stop there. This bank already has freaking superpower, like superpower, and what I mean is you see Brazil, Russia. Russia has backed their ruble by gold. By freaking gold, bro. They just backed the Russian ruble by freaking gold. You know how big this bank is gonna be, and then you're gonna have ripples, IOUs, and stuff like that coming through here. They're talking about loans. They talk about loans. They're not talking about paper. They're talking about gold, man. They're talking about gold. They're talking about real gold here. They got no time for that stuff. This is a new system. This is a new system coming up, man. You can see it's built up. There's some other members, new members, like there's Bangladesh and Egypt that we, talking about. UAE, Uruguay. I'll have to look into Uruguay, uh, because besides like the RippleNet stuff, that's a South American country. South America is majorly involved in the Stellar network, so and plus it kind of gives me that Argentina vibe too. So I gotta look into that uh Uruguay one. But yeah, it's here on this new development banks. It's gonna be the RippleNet, and there's gonna be other parts to it, Project Dunbar and all that other stuff that comes in. They talk about the history of how this stuff made up, and it talks about how the BRIC leaders agreed to set a development bank at the fifth BRIC summit held in Durban, South Africa on 27th March 2013. So yeah, that's interesting. Damn, literally in my city while I was damn still a kid, not knowing nothing about what's going on. And then there was other meetings that took place and how they came up with the structure of the new development bank. Right, they got a lot of stuff in here, the capitals and how they went about it. But what's interesting is they got multilateral development banks. A lot of these banks I do know are working behind the scenes with the XRP and stuff like that. Uh, and the first one, because it's on the top of the list, is World Bank. All right, and I'm going to see some stuff on World Bank. And this is the familiar logos. Everyone know what World Bank is. If you see that logo, you probably seen it a ton of times in XRP stuff. And then, they talk about on this side distributed ledger technology. Uh, Distributed ledgers use independent computers referred to as nodes to record synchronized transactions in their respective electron electronic ledgers instead of keeping data centralized as in a traditional ledger. Blockchain organizes data into blocks which are chained together in an append only mode, right? So I'm going to just share this one part and then I'll move on to something else here. Blockchain DLT are the building block of Internet of Value. Keyword Internet of Value. When this word is mostly thrown around, it it's more XRP related. I know there's a lot of criticism in the space, but when it comes to Internet of Value, it's more XRP related, right? And then the bodies, the World Bank are bodies, with the Fed and the IMF, who's also working with the New Development Bank, which the BRICS nation and stuff like that. So you would have the Fed, the IMF, and World Bank approve of XRP. And not to spend too much time on this, we'll just go through a few paragraphs on here, right? Despite the bear market, this article came, but we happen to be in a bear market at this current moment as well. Despite the bear market seems to have ended, okay, Ripple has been one of the best performing digital assets in recent months. This is due to the fact that Ripple Inc. is implementing several products whose design is intended to compete and replace the Society Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications (SWIFT). Yes, there is multiple products. There's the on-demand liquidity. There's liquidity hub. There's instant settlements and all of those. There's going to be more products that come up besides. There's the NFT space, XLSD20 on the XRP ledger, which is going to be interesting in the next couple of months. Besides, like projects now that are cool on there. There's going to be some government stuff that's going to be interesting. It comes out with that, and the banks and stuff like that. In the first instance, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen was chosen as one of the actors to discuss with the IMF the different ways in which blockchain and other emerging technologies could be used to rationalize some of the activities executed with the financial landscape. Right? IMF Director Christine Lagarde warned banks that they would have to enhance and adopt new technologies such as Ripple would which would help them serve their customers better. She believed that Ripple and other similar blockchain companies would help banks reduce cost and accelerate transactions worldwide. Right? And Christine Lagarde is big. I mean, she's met with the president of South Africa because I've seen that pic and I shared that pic with you guys. Met with numerous leaders, uh, global leaders that's part of the BRICS nation and stuff like that. And if she was ready to be I think it's about a week or a month back, she was ready to be the prime minister of France, but there was quote unquote, uh, what happened in there was election rigging, like what happened in the state. So it kind of pushes things back with France and stuff. But the ledger company comes from France. I mean, she's from France talking about Rupert, and they have the European Commission. Those stuff, ties in a big play. If she came in, that would have been an epic play out. And let's see how, things are going to play out in the next couple of months with France as well. Uh, coming into the picture. Yeah, and back to, Egypt now being part of BRICS nations and the new development bank. They're going to have XRP and Ripple at the forefront of this bank. That's the way they're moving forward for liquidity and stuff like that. Every bank to survive in the future needs to have XRP. There is no way. The last video I've done, I showed you every single South African bank, the largest banks, are going to use XRP and the Ripple network because it's literally going to replace that SWIFT system. And you know, the banks need RippleNet to make it in this new financial digital economy that's coming of age, right? So what are we looking in here? The WB recently published an article in which it praised the blockchain technology and the efforts made by Ripple and others to improve remittances and others. So keyword besides Ripple, there's others as well for remittances. Currently, remittances involve a high cost for those who need them most, especially for residents of developing countries who travel abroad and send funds to their country of origin. Sub-Saharan Africa, for example, remain the most expensive region to send money, with 8.97% average cost. Innovations in cross-border transactions can certainly help reduce operating costs for remittance service providers. The latest report focuses on various distributed ledger technologies, Ripple's extract technology for which pilot programs and the Circle payment service have been run at several institutions. Right. Uh, let's get on to the next part. The Fed's adoption of Ripple. The everyone's part they love the most is the Fed. Finally, we mentioned the Federal Reserve of the which can even adopt any of three Ripple Inc. solutions. The bank aims to adopt technology such as Ripple would support interbank liquidity for faster payments. The report submitted to the Fed Ripple informed that for the United States of America to retain their competitive advantage and drive innovation in payments, it is crucial that new systems be studied and adopted. Right? Undoubtedly, Ripple's position with regard to weighty institutions indicate that it is doing well. However, to the liking of many, Ripple is placed before the decentralized philosophy, which it does not capture the intention, but for many, this is what strengthens it. Right, so yeah, that's just from the World Bank, the Fed, and Ripple, approving of XRP and being one of the multilateral development banks. World Bank will be in here, and obviously the gonna have stuff like China and stuff like that. That's doing some stuff in here with the new development bank. You can check this out. And then there's a video where they talk about BRICS nations setting up payment networks, cutting out the West. Now listen to this. This is from Walking Money channel, and he took this clip from YouTube as well. And this is interesting just to pay attention to this.
Underscore here on Twitter. And this guy's name is Ben Swan, yes? Like a Black Swan event, Ben Swan wearing a black jacket in this interview from back in 2019. He talks about the BRICS nations setting up a payment network, cutting out the West before the beer flu pandemic occurred. This has been in the works for a while, so I thought I would bring this up. And for those of you guys who do not know, those BRICS countries, that would be Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Listen to what he has to say.
Step two is what's being discussed now, which is the payment processing system. So really what they're competing with is the SWIFT bank system, right? So right now, if you're sending money overseas from a U.S. bank, you have to use, or any Western country, you use that SWIFT system that is set up in Belgium. And that prevents money laundering in theory and all that kind of thing. But what the BRICS nations are doing is saying, well, we don't need to use the SWIFT system because we don't want to be subjected again to U.S. sanctions, because if the U.S. is sanctioning you, you can't move money using that SWIFT system. So what's really interesting is, number one, they're creating a payment system that would go around SWIFT. But how do you do that when you have 5 major countries that all have their own currencies? And one of the ways they're doing that is by using possibly cryptocurrency to do that. That would translate their currencies into a single cryptocurrency that is then used through the system and then formulated, I guess, when it gets into their country back into their own personal currency. So essentially you're taking currency from one, sending it through as a cryptocurrency, and then back on the other end into transforming it into another currency. And that allows them, again, to get around this SWIFT system in a way that no one had really thought about in the past, because crypto already has all of those things in place.
Whoa! It sounds to me like Ben Swan here is describing RippleNet and XRP to a T. The BRICS countries wanting to circumvent those SWIFT sanctions. So what they do, they use a cryptocurrency. Again, guys, this is from back in 2019, a year after it was documented that Russia had been piloting, this is well documented now, Russia had been piloting RippleNet through their bank, the Novosibirsk Bank. Fast forward a year and Ben Swan saying, well, how do we avoid using the US dollar? How do we avoid that US dollar world reserve currency? Well, we can use a cryptocurrency. Now, he doesn't spell it out, but he explains exactly what we've been researching all these years with regards to RippleNet technology. You put your fiat currency through the cryptocurrency, i.e. the bridge currency. It comes out the other end as another currency, and Bob is your uncle.
Boom. There, guys, you hear it. And Walking Money channel just explained exactly what's going on there as well. They're using RippleNet all the way through. I'm starting this new development bank, even with Egypt coming aboard. They're using Ripple Project Goka 2. It's RippleNet, which is then tied to the new development bank, which is the B.R.I.C.S bank. Yeah, that's Ripple. There's Ripple. So XRP. I mean, there's going to be other cryptos on there, I believe, as well, that will run through the XRPL, because the XRPL is a neutral bridge asset which will support other currencies as well that flow in through, as that's a banking infrastructure that's going to allow for other currencies to go back and forth and trade and stuff like that. Yeah, that's big news from what's going on with the B.R.I.C.S. And now that you have a country like Egypt and the National Bank of Egypt using RippleNet, and now they're coming into the B.R.I.C.S. It's so freaking obvious what's going on right now, and like they say, nothing can stop what is coming. And today the price of XRP, is at 52 cents, which is still good still. Uh, then we look at Terra USD. Some of it would be a dollar, but there were some, as you can see there. Yeah, not even. Yeah, there's some sketchy stuff going on there. Right, and then you have, since I talk about XLM as well, XLM is at 15 cents. It's another good token. Algorand as well, 63 cents. They're doing stuff with FIFA and Sun. It's a good project to have. What Cosmos is at $14. Just a few VeChains at 4 cents. That's a good buy. Internet Computer is at $11. Wow, that is wild. This token literally was, I think, about $700 last year around this time. So this token is a good steal as well. Just if you guys looking for some place. Adara Hashgraph, 11 cents. That's good. Filecoin, wow, is down to 11. Crazy, 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 crazy. What's going on in this market? Yeah, guys, just some few projects as well. But as on the price comes to XRP, make sure that stuff is off exchanges as well. Right. Hope you guys have a good one. I will catch you in another one. I'm out. Cheers, guys.